Michele Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful Christmas holiday. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
To say that the diaspora has a responsibility to build Africa and grow Africa, okay, it's a great sentiment, but where does the intention of the people in the diasporan community match the intention of the people here? There's this whole statement that blacks are not a monolith. Right? Africa is not a monolith at the same time. So if you're talking about blacks in the diaspora investing in Africa, where in Africa are you talking about? Talking about here in Uganda? Are you talking about going to Kenya? Are you talking about Ghana, Nigeria, Namibia, all these countries that he mentioned? Where specifically? Be specific, be clear. Don't talk about we're going to Africa. Where are you going in Africa? And what policies do they have in place in order to be able to actually make that which you're proposing make sense? Is it even viable to go to Ghana and talk about we're going to come in as an investment block and we're going to eliminate your need to work with the Asians and the European sources of funding? So if I want you to succeed and I'm demonstrating that I'm willing to contribute more toward your own success than you are, to me, that's my final comment. Don't save who doesn't want to be saved.
A savior complex. That's what that's called. A savior complex. A savior complex is when you're helping somebody for the benefit of you. You're not helping them to really benefit them. You're helping them so that you can feel good about helping that person. And it becomes no longer savior complex when you involve that person in the decisions, when you involve that person and them being able to tell you, this is what I need. And so you give them what they need according to what they have told you. This is what I need. And then not only can you walk away feeling good about helping that person, but you have helped that person. It's not just for the benefit of you. You've actually walked away and that person was helped. Now, I was watching a video by Go Black to Africa, and he was talking to a man. His name is Judah, and he owns the Jerk Soul restaurant in Ghana. Now, I ate at the Jerk Soul restaurant last summer. Very good food. And in the interview, and I will link down below, I'm not going to show the video. You are able to go and watch if you're interested in watching. It was a very good interview, actually, very good interview. And what he said is that he has struggled a lot with trying to get the restaurant off the ground, of getting the support that he needed. And he just, it was very tough. It was very tough for him. It's been very tough for him in Ghana. After watching the interview with Judah about Jerk Soul, I went and I talked to my husband about it because he also watches Go Black to Africa. So we had a discussion about it because I was just really wanting to get some type of perspective from someone who's from Ghana, who's lived in Ghana, and who knows the problems of Ghana because he's Ghanaian. And one of the things that he said to me is that the problem is, and the issue is that he sees as far as people struggling when they go to Ghana, when they're setting up these businesses, when they're investing, when there's, the African Diasporans are going over there, they're struggling and they're having a very hard time. One of the main reasons why they're having a hard time is because they have not involved the locals in the planning process. They haven't sat and talked and asked a local person in Ghana, what do you need? What do you need here? Do you need a restaurant here? Do you need water source here? What do you need in this area? I really want to invest in this area. I really want to do what's right for the people here. So what can I bring here that can definitely be of use? And so, one of the things that we discussed with the Jerk Soul restaurant is a collaboration with local people of Ghana, being able to go there and cook something native there. That who knows, it might be going on. I'm not really for sure. But to really involve as much of the local people as possible in getting these things together, especially when it comes to businesses, because the local people are going to be able to tell you what is needed and what is not needed. Just like the man said in the video, if we don't need it, then you don't need to bring it because it's not going to succeed. If you're putting a restaurant in an area where mostly people are not eating out, then of course the business is not going to do well. But a lot of times What I've heard on social media when it comes to some African diasporans is that they want to put it all on the country. Oh, well, the country is just not making it easy for us to be here. They're making it very hard. They should really make it easy for the African diasporans. You know, we're here to set up shop. We're here to do this. We're here to do that. And it's just like, so is your experience any different from a local Ghanaian? Because if a local Ghanaian is also having a difficult time getting a business together or starting a business or making an income, then what makes you think that it's supposed to be easy for you? Of course, it's going to be harder for you. You're a foreigner. Whether you like to hear it or not, you're still an outsider who's trying to get in. And so it's important to really talk to the local people to really understand, what do y'all need? What can I bring from the outside that's going to be prosperous here? And that's where the conversation piece, that's where the connection piece is going to come from. When we're talking about the African diasporans and the people on the African continent, is really coming together and having communication. And to try not to separate ourselves and to get into this savior complex as if the African continent is in need of everything that we're bringing. And everything that you're bringing, and in reality, they might not need any of that. They might need something totally different. You want to go and help the country as a whole. That's what you want to do. There needs to be something that the African diasporans and the people on the African continent are working together to help these countries as a whole. There has to be a communication piece, though. You have to be collaborating with the local people to say, what do you need? Do you need a restaurant? Do you need a hair shop? Do you need a beauty salon? Do you need a water source? Do you need a school? Do you need books? What do you need in this particular area? And if this is what you need, then we're going to work together to make that happen. So that more of that, then the more people will be involved. You want more of the local people to be involved in what you're doing. Then you're just bringing something there and you don't know if that's what they need. And then, you get upset because you're not getting any support. Well, if I didn't need that and I didn't want that, then of course I'm not going to support it just because you brought it there. It's got to be something I need. Now, let's take another example into this, right? The people canceled or trying to cancel Oh Poor Mr. Beast. And my husband and I actually had a conversation about this because I was just like, well, I just don't like the way he did it, as far as him feeling like he needed to broadcast it all over the place. But after I thought more and more about it, I realized why I really had an issue. Because I read an article in CNN where there's an organization in Kenya who have been for the past 15 or so years trying to get water sources to these villages. And they have been working tirelessly trying to get it to happen. And of course, for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. And then you have Mr. Beast, who comes out of nowhere and says that he's going to build wells for these particular villages. Now, there's nothing wrong with him building the wells if that's what the people need. If they need the wells, then great, build it. But I think it becomes an issue, though, when you don't at least involve the organizations that are there who have been trying to get this stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Like if Mr. Beast would have collaborated with that organization of Kenya who has been trying to get this stuff done for a long period of time, if he would have collaborated with that organization and it would have been a joint effort, hey, these are the places that this is what needs to be done to keep it up, then I think it would not have gotten so much of a backlash. But when you start to just eliminate the people altogether, you don't even want to involve the locals in what you're coming over there with. You're just coming over there with what you think they need. And then there you go. You leave. You don't leave behind any type of thing to make sure that it's kept up. You don't leave nothing behind so that people can make sure that it keeps running. I mean, just because you build it doesn't mean that it's going to be sustained. If there's no resources, no supplies, no nothing to keep these things up and running, then it's not going to be successful anyway. So even though you have come there with this good intentions, because you came there with a savior complex, it did not really sustain for the longevity. And that's really what you want in these countries of Africa if you're planning on helping the way it should be helped, which means if you're going there to help the people there and you genuinely want to help them, then you need to be talking to local people and asking them, what do you need? And then when you set up what they need, you need to make sure that you've also put in place for them to continue to sustain whatever you put in place for longer periods of time. But if it's not something that they need, not something that they ask for, then more than likely they're not going to take care of it. More than likely they're not going to, it's not going to mean, one way or the other, because it's not something that they were involved in trying to decide whether they wanted or not. It was all on you. It was what benefited you, what you wanted, what you thought they wanted, and you kind of dismissed the people that you are saying you're helping and you're doing it for. So yes, there are some African diasporans that have a serious savior complex when it comes to the African continent, and they're getting frustrated. They're getting frustrated, and they're leaving because they are still under the impression that they are able to give something that the African country didn't ask them to give. If you want to come and you want to build a restaurant, or you want to build a business, or you want to create a business, then you need to be collaborating with the people there to ask what is in need here, to make sure that you are giving them exactly what they need. And of course, they will be more appreciative for you to do something that they know that they were involved in, versus you just coming in with something that you feel like they need and that they have no part of it whatsoever, and then you get upset because they don't support you. I mean, you have to include the people that live there. That is very, very important. All right, you all, that's all I have to say on that. I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.